The Friday the 13th series is one of the most iconic and celebrated in all of horror. To date, there have been 12 theatrical movies made and released, and fans are still clamoring for more. With any series that runs for as long as Friday the 13th, there are naturally going to be some varying degrees of quality between the films. After all, there's only so many times you can reproduce the same plot with different characters before things start to get just a little bit stale. Fortunately, the desire to do different things with the movies in the latter part of the series has produced some interesting films and concepts in this franchise. In the second half of the series, we start to get concepts such as Zombie Jason, Jason vs. Carrie, and then Jason goes on a boat ride and then somehow eventually winds up in Manhattan, even though Crystal Lake is in, well, a lake. By the time they get to Jason starting to body swap between people, you would think that they had run out of ideas and concepts at this point, but you'd be wrong. There was still one more concept for the series to explore: Jason in space. That's right. In 2001, Jason Voorhees would boldly go where the Hellraiser and Leprechaun series had each eventually gone before. With the release of Jason X, the 10th film in the Friday the 13th series, we would finally see Jason get launched into outer space, and also to the future of the 25th century.
Can someone tell me what's on his face?
Some kind of 20th century carbon filtration unit?
It's a hockey mask. Very good, Senaron.
What's a hockey mask?
Facial armor, used in a sport outlawed in 2024.
This film could have easily sucked, and to a good portion of the audience upon its initial release, it seemed like it did. However, those people are wrong, and Jason X has since gone on to become a bit of a cult classic for fans of the series, mainly because of how the filmmakers just totally stopped giving a fuck by this point, and decided to just have some fun with Jason Voorhees in space.
What the hell? I thought this was an alien sim.
Yeah, it is. Pause play. I think we need to reboot.
First, they came up with the plot at the start of the movie where Jason is currently being held captive by the military. How did Jason come back from hell after the ending of the previous film and get captured by the military, you might say? Who cares? We've got a movie and concept to get to, and we can't let it get bogged down in too much plot. So, somehow Jason is back, and now held captive by the military who wants to keep him so they can study just exactly why he has the ability to regenerate and not die. And to keep him pacified while they study him, they plan to freeze him with cryogenics.
His unique ability to regenerate lost and damaged tissue, and it cries out for more research.
Of course, we just want to get Jason to space as quickly as possible, so he soon escapes and kills all the guards, as well as David Cronenberg in a short cameo. The scientist studying him traps and freezes Jason in a desperate attempt, which in turn freezes her in cryostasis as well. This being a military facility, no one naturally told anyone else about what was going on, so we get an idiocracy scenario where Jason and the scientists are left alone in cryostasis to be long forgotten about for hundreds of years, until a teacher and his students discover them while coming back to study and scavenge a post-apocalyptic Earth. They take Jason and the scientists back up into their spaceship, and after 15 minutes, we finally have Jason in space. The scientist eventually gets revived on the ship and tries to warn everyone about Jason, and they naturally don't believe her until Jason wakes up and starts doing what he does best: killing everyone he sees and punishing those who dare to have sex in his presence. I've always liked the notion that it was the act of the two people screwing in his presence that caused his full revival and waking up. Like he is this force of nature that must carry out his mother's good work of killing those who dare to sin. The movie even takes a jab at this later on, when the crew momentarily tricks Jason into walking into a holographic simulation of Camp Crystal Lake. They use the hologram of two young pot-smoking and promiscuous teenage girls to distract him so they can buy time to escape.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex. We love premarital sex.
It is a blatant reference to the trope that Friday the 13th movies had become known for, and the movie is not at all shy about showing it. I also very much love this scene. We even get to revisit the famous sleeping bag kill from part 7. Speaking of famous kills, Jason X features what many fans believe to be the best kill in the entire series. Very soon after Jason is woken up by the screwing teenagers, he grabs the head of the woman who was examining him and shoves it straight into liquid nitrogen, freezing her head and then smashing it to bits. It's a truly beautiful kill, with a very simple but impressive effect. Another favorite kill of mine is later in the movie when a security team is sent to dispatch of Jason after the crew realizes he's killing everyone. Jason soon kills all of them, and one of them gets thrown onto a giant screw, and then slowly spins down to its base. One thing this movie does not lack is plenty of people for Jason to kill. The movie also takes advantage of its concept by using future technology to change the usual design and plot of the movies. After Jason kills most of the security team, a futuristic android on the crew gets a military upgrade uploaded to her, like from The Matrix, and she then takes on Jason, blowing up a good portion of him with future weaponry. However, since Jason is never fully dead, the nanite technology of the regenerative health pod he lands on soon goes to work on healing and even upgrading Jason. We now finally get the crowning achievement of this film, Uber Jason. As the tagline says, evil gets an upgrade. And what an upgrade it is. I absolutely love the design of what fans now call Uber Jason. It's exactly what I think a futuristic Jason would look like when mixed with the Terminator. It's completely badass, it upped the stakes, and it's exciting to watch.
You guys might want to run.
I love that the movie also gives Jason two very capable people of fighting him, with the android and the head of security. Even when he's grabbing onto Jason while they're both in outer space and burning up on re-entry, this guy is still taking swings at Jason all the way down. This movie may not be scary for most people, but you cannot deny that it is completely fun, and not meant to be taken too seriously. I think any franchise that is able to reach a 10th film in a series is allowed to have some fun with itself at that point. The fact that the film even pays tribute to past films with the great hologram sequence is just icing on the cake. If you're a fan of this series and haven't seen Jason X yet, do yourself a favor and go ahead and watch it, with an open mind. Sure, it's not going to be exactly just like the films that came before it, but to me, the fact that it is not afraid to be different and have fun with itself is ultimately why it's great.
I don't think he's out there.
Why don't you just stick your head out and have a peek?